but he thought if they built this thing around something with scrubbers, that would help a lot. But she was at her wit's end because she can't go outside at all. And what a shame.
Yeah, that is. I mean, you buy lake property, which is a premium,
Yes.
and you build a house on there so you can sit out and by the lake, and if you can't,
Knock on wood, I wish I
Yeah, and then you wouldn't be able to sell
you would
it.
never be able to sell it either.
Yeah, who wants that?
But boy, that's strange that
That's
we're
right,
just
I
here
jinxed
for
it.
the first time in 6
Well,
years.
evidently Bruce has been
Working
dealing
on
with
it.
it, but
Okay.
she,
But-
I don't think she brought it to her attention before.
Good morning. It's now 9 a.m. This is the monthly meeting of the Fairfield Glade Community Club Board of Directors. Will please come to order. This morning's meeting is open to all members of the community club and is being recorded for viewing on the community club website. We are also live streaming this morning's meeting for member viewing. To honor America, please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence to remember those who are serving in uniform. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Pat, would you please call the roll of the board members?
Mr. Cox?
Here.
Mr. Floral?
Here?
Mrs. Galloway?
Here.
Mr. Horn? Mr. Jones?
Here.
Mrs. Storr?
Here.
Mr. Wedgeworth?
Here.
Mr. Chairman, there are 6 board members present, therefore we do have a quorum.
Okay, thank you, Pat. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the August 25th, 2022 meeting. May I have a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes for the August 25th board meeting are approved. This morning in the audience, we have a couple of distinguished guests. We have Cumberland County Mayor Alan Foster is here. We have our 9th District Commissioner Colleen Mall and our 6th District Commissioner Joe Sherrill. So, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be out here again. Had to miss last month, but it's always good to be back out here. Just a few things I wanted to go over. You may have heard that Cumberland County came in 15th in the state in tourism this year. For a little reference, we're the 22nd largest county by population, so that's quite a jump over where we, I guess, technically should be. That's the top in the upper Cumberland, including Putnam County. Fairfield's obviously a good part of that. We also got just a lot of good things going all across the county, from the playhouse to the state park, golf, obviously, our shooting sports park, trails, hunting, fishing, biking, disc golf, all our festivals. I believe the Aspen Festival is actually coming up this weekend. But, you know, we're going to have other things coming in. I think Flat Rock Motorsports is going to fit right into there. And of course, all these things help to keep our taxes low, so that's good for all of us. Broadband, you may have heard, we had a big broadband grant announcements last week. Cumberland County got the largest amount of anyone in the state of Tennessee at $26.5 million. Ben Lomond alone is going to serve over 6,900 new address points in the county. Parts of the whole county are served, including a good portion of Fairfield that's in the southern portion, kind of below Peavine, how it turns there. So parts of everywhere are covered. Their grant was about $22.5 million with a total project cost of $37 million. Bledsoe Telephone is coming up in the south, about 1,900 new addresses there. Their grant total was about $4 million with a total project cost of $7.4 million. And just for reference, if you're keeping up, since February of 2020, there's been about $65 million allocated to the broadband issue in Cumberland County. So we've made a lot of headway there, and over 18,000 new addresses will have broadband when these grants are done. So I think that's good news for everybody, realtors and everyone. It's making our properties more valuable. Last thing I want to let you know, we are still looking for Tennessee Achieve mentors for high school students that are going into college. Some of them just need a little extra help and a little guidance along the way, and they can support that with encouragement and personal guidance for students in the community. If you're interested, you can find more information at TNAchieves.org, tnachieves.org. So that's all I've got today. Anybody have a question? All right, thank you.
Good. We also have Rebecca Foster in the audience representing Congressman John Rose. So do we have any comments from either one of the commissioners? Okay. All right. Very good. Then I'll share my comments from across the board. We want to thank each of the three candidates for the Director-at-Large open seat, Hank Henning, Bruce Horn, and Karen Schreck, for their participation in the 2022 election process. This year we elected one Director-at-Large, Bruce Horn, the interval owner timeshare representative, Barbara Storr, and the developer declarant representative to the board, Misty Galloway. We look forward to working with our new and returning board members as we face the challenges that lie ahead. We are confident that we will be able to deliver the results for our community club members that they expect and deserve. On behalf of the entire board, we also want to thank our 2022 election committee for all their efforts to ensure we experienced a fair election process and the exceptional level of communications that they provided to ensure that we had an informed electorate. Collectively, it is our honor to serve as your board of directors, and personally, it is my honor and privilege to serve as the president of the board once again. As I mentioned last month, we have started the annual process of developing our budget for next year. And it's no secret that next year's budget process will be more challenging than we've experienced in recent years. The ongoing supply chain challenges and the record level of inflation continue to drive higher prices on everything we buy. While we can hope for the best, we have an obligation to plan for the worst. So as we face the uncertainty of 2023, we'll proceed through the budget process with cautious optimism. To offset the anticipated expense increases in the 2023 budget, we will need to leverage all of our revenue streams, rolling over any 2022 revenue surpluses, embedding operating efficiencies and performance targets, and evaluating amenity usage fees to minimize any general assessment increase. We will continue to pursue our philosophy of pay-to-play that places the responsibility to cover amenity operating expense on those who use the amenities. It is important to remember that in 2022, there was no general assessment increase. The economic challenges we'll face as we develop the 2023 budget will be significant, yet due to the exceptional financial condition of the community club, we remain cautiously optimistic that 2023 will be another very successful year for the community club. We have stressed that the current rate of inflation is significantly affecting the cost of construction. We have reevaluated all of our current and proposed 2022 and 2023 capital projects to reassess their priorities to keep expenditures within our capital expense budget. We've assessed the initial construction bids for the next phase of the Robin Hood Park expansion project for a pavilion with restrooms, bocce ball courts, and hard surface paths. We'll defer any work this year, and the timing of our next steps in the process will be scheduled as we develop the budget for 2023. Current cost estimates for the Heatherhurst Clubhouse renovation have exceeded our project budget, requiring us to defer actual construction until the end of the 2023 golf season. Funding for the St. George Marina building project has also been reevaluated, and we are planning to install a new metal roof this year since we did not see a significant increase in the costs for this portion of the project. However, we will defer the remainder of this project until the fall of 2023. The Druid Hills planning team continues to work on the initial planning process to determine what the next Druid Hills Clubhouse facility should provide for our growing community. The land use consultant's report was presented at the annual meeting. If you were unable to attend or watch the streaming of the annual meeting and would like to see what was presented, the annual meeting video is available on our member website. The next step in the process is for soil samples to be taken so that we know what lies beneath the soil on the property. In particular, we're interested in knowing how much and what kind of rock might be under the soil where we are considering construction. A request for proposal has been sent to and responded by bidders, and after board approval, a contract with the selected bidder should be finalized by the end of September or early October. The Food and Beverage Subcommittee is in the process of designing the format for the focus groups and their presentation for the town hall meeting that's being planned for October. Golf Committee is finalizing their requirements for golf-related facilities based on the land use plan. These requirements will be presented to the board, the golf leadership team, and the entire community in the October timeframe. The Golf Committee will also finalize their request for proposal for hiring a golf architect. The RFP, after board approval, should go out to bidders during the October and November timeframe. Members who would like to share additional comments regarding the Druid Hills project can reach out to the Druid Hills planning team by sending email messages to the planning team at druidhillsprojects@fairfieldglade.cc. Information concerning the Druid Hills Advanced Planning Team is also available on the Community Club website. And that's our September update from across the board. And with that, we'll turn to the Treasurer's report. Bruce?
Thank you. Good morning. Please refer to the handout that you have, and I'll remind you that the numbers in parentheses on my script correlate to the attached forms. We continue to have a strong financial performance through August. In sewer, we have slightly over $4.5 million in total cash compared to $3.6 million at the end of August 2021, which is a positive variation of about $950,000. For the Property Owners Association and the amenities, we have $2.7 million of capital cash, about $7.1 million of operating cash, for a total of about $9.8 million of cash compared to $7.4 million at the end of August 2021, which is a positive variation of $2.4 million. On cash flow, sewers has a positive year-end forecast to budget of just over $16,000 through August, with revenues continuing to be driven by increased tap fees from new home starts as compared to budget. On the negative side, sewer continues to experience increased inflationary costs for materials, especially the grinder pump and parts. In POA, they continue to be positive to date with year-end forecast variation to budget of a little over $500,000. Open positions account for the majority of that savings, plus we have 91 more billable lots than budgeted. On the expense side, we continue to see higher than expected insurance and energy costs, which are the major expense issues for POA. Amenities also have a positive year-end forecast variation to budget equal to a little over $6,000. Golf represents the majority of the positive variation forecast at about $130,000, driven by 5,700 more rounds than budget to date, and that's primarily driven by the golf packages that are coming in. We're also experiencing increased costs of sales and F&B as inflationary pressures continue, resulting in a negative year-end forecast to budget of $63,500 for F&B. In addition, the marina year-end forecast is negative a little over $75,000 to budget, and the major issue there is pontoon boats are $40,000 less than budget. Overall, POA and amenities year-end forecast variation after 8 months of operation is favorable to budget by a little over $500,000. So our financial performance through August is positive, and our forecast indicates we'll have another strong financial year. Any questions? Thank you.
Okay, General Manager's report. Bob?
Okay, thank you. The asphalt road paving is complete. We're now in the process of striping the collector roads, so that should be done here pretty soon. Then we still have not received a start date for chip and seal for the other roads, and so any help that our commissioners and mayor can give us, we certainly would appreciate that. Year-to-date golf rounds, about 105,100, which, as Bruce indicated, 5,700 more than budget. For the year, the average rounds per course per day open were 116 compared to 117 in 2021. As Bruce mentioned, our sales at Stonehenge Grill continue to exceed our budget, as well as the 2021 year-to-date sales. However, our cost of sales have exceeded our expectations as well, primarily due to inflation. Our F&B subsidy through August was $215,000, and that's about $27,500 more than budget. However, the good news is our customer satisfaction scores, based on our after-meal surveys, have increased considerably, so we're happy to see that. We plan to continue our current yard waste Okay, I'll try and speak. There we go. All right. And then our fall leaf pickup program will start October 17th, and that'll run through December 16th. So that's an expanded period of time. Usually we don't start until early November, so now we're going to start middle of October to help with that. And we'll continue the one bag with your weekly garbage as well. And that's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Barb, the resort report?
Good morning. Wyndham Timeshare visitors, month to date, 2,457, and year to date, 42,700. The center has generated $14,035 of like revenue, which is 4%. Racket, $9,789, which is 5%. Dartmoor Marina, $114,849, which is 48%. St. George Marina, $45,137, which is 24%. Golf, $471,429, which is 9%. And food, $298,701, which is 26%. And a year-to-date total is $953,940, which is an average of 13%. And we are up by 20,000 from this time last year. And you can actually reference these figures on the very last page of the treasurer's report. Thank you.
Thanks, Barb. The architectural control report, Sam?
Thank you. Miscellaneous approval, which is changes to existing homes through the end of August, is 1,310. The same time last year was 1,307. New homes approved through the end of August for 2022 is 90, and through last year, same time, was 82. New homes completed through the end of August for 2022 is 81, and last year was 58. Any questions? Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. Okay, this morning we have no unfinished business for the board to consider, and under new business, we have one purchase requisition to consider. And Bruce, you're going to do that?
Yeah, I'll cover that. As Ken mentioned, last week we had the annual report, and Greg presented the land planning for Druid. Now that we know where we think the clubhouse is going and the revisions we're going to do to the driving range, we need to understand what's underneath the dirt that's there, because Cumberland County has some rocks here and there. So we went out and did some soil bore drilling. We got 3 bids for that, and this PR is for $11,000 to perform those drilling, so we can find out what's underneath there before we start making plans on digging. So I'll make a motion to approve $11,000 for the borings.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the Druid Hills planning purchase requisition. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. The PR for the bore drilling analysis and $11,000 is approved with that. The next item on the agenda is an update from Fairfield Glade Resident Services, and Phil Birdsall is here to provide that.
Morning, friends. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for allowing me to make this report, to give you a very brief update this month on Fairfield Glade Resident Services and its activities. Our focus this month has been on completing the details and then participating in the Ken Schuning Golf Scramble, which was sponsored by the Christ Lutheran Church and which was held last Sunday at Dorchester. The weather was beautiful last Sunday, as you all know, and so was the golf course. The event was great fun, thanks to the efforts and cooperation, as always, of Jeff Houston and the golf staff and the crew out at Dorchester. We are very, very much indebted to Christ Lutheran Church for sponsoring this event and also for donating a substantial portion of the proceeds to Fairfield Glade Resident Services in memory of our founder, Mr. Schuning. We are already working on how best to utilize this very special gift. In case you're interested, the Golf Scramble had 108 golfers, 52 hole sponsors, and a large variety of cash and donated gift prizes. So I have not nearly enough time to thank all of the individuals who put that together, but we are grateful, of course. On an entirely other subject, I want to take just a minute this month to highlight one of our numerous active programs. I want to talk briefly about the program we call Way to Go. This program offers rides to Fairfield Glade residents who either don't drive or can't drive. We take people to medical appointments and to other destinations. So far this calendar year, our volunteer drivers have provided 1,308 rides. Let me repeat that, 1,308 rides. These rides have totaled 15,415 miles driven and 1,241 hours of volunteer time by those drivers. I point out those numbers because to me they're staggering, and they just illustrate that there are needs in this community that Fairfield Glade Resident Services is trying to meet, and there may be other needs out there that we are constantly looking at and trying to discern what other needs there may be. And the donations that our community makes to our programs help us not only maintain our existing programs, but also have the time and the resources to have a vision for what the future may hold for us. We continue to be in a very healthy financial situation, thanks to the support from the organizations such as our service clubs, including a recent donation from the Fairfield Glade Lions Club. We're very grateful for both this organizational support and for any and all of the individual donations we receive, which allow us to continue to operate our various programs with the help of over 100 volunteers. Please pass the word. We're here to help you and your neighbors and to continue the work we've done now for over 14 years. Thank you.
All right,
thanks.
So let me make a comment. Before I got on the board, I did the Way to Go program.
Yes.
And I'd encourage anybody to think about doing that because it's actually an enriching experience to go pick these folks up and take them somewhere. It's a great conversation. It's enjoyable. It's not a task. It's an enjoyable thing to do. So I would encourage anybody that's got some time to do that.
Well, thank you for sharing that, and I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Phil. At this time, we'll recognize any of our Fairfield Glade residents that would like to share comments. If you'd please step to the microphone. All right, are there any comments from members of the board? Okay, then at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion to adjourn is passed. We stand adjourned, Pat.
Most important task. I know. So sad. The only person that's gonna have a bigger smile on her face than me, that lady right there, her day comes.
Oh, yeah.
I think they plan to meet
Yeah, on the classroom.
in the classroom.
That's what Ken said, yeah.
Bobby Jones.